My name is Phil, one of Jayce's shortest friends. I met in August last year for men's Bible study, and the guys that was with us is in the back, Tyler. Don't wait, you don't have to wait your ways, that's fine. Nora and Mike have asked me to say a few words to encourage and to bring some hope. And when we're in a situation such as this, hope is a good thing, and encouragement is a good thing. I just feel a lot more comfortable if we just take a second to have a moment of prayer. I apologize, it's going to be in English. Heavenly Father, thank you for the life that Jayce lived here. We're just sitting and watching people come in and out and weep over him, Father. He lived life, and we're grateful to have been touched by him, and we're grateful to have known him. And I just ask, Lord, that these words would truly lift people today and help us to see light, Father, where sadness might want to drag us down. Just ask in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen. The passage I'd like to read to you comes from the Gospel of John in chapter 6. Yesterday when Nora and Mike and I were chatting, there's some good questions that came through that last time I was thinking and writing. I think you deserve some better answers. And so I hope some better answers come in the next few minutes. In John chapter 6:35, these are the words of Jesus when he says, "I am the bread of life. He who comes to me will never go hungry. He who believes in me will never be thirsty. But as I told you, you have seen me, you still don't believe. All that the Father gives to me will come to me. And whoever comes to me, I will never drive away. For I have come down from heaven, not to do my own will, but to do the will of him who sent me. And this is his will, that I shall lose none of all that he has given me, but raise them up at the last day. For my Father's will is that everyone who looks to the Son and believes in him shall have eternal life, and I will raise him up on the last day. In mankind, there's hunger. It comes from a pit, an emptiness which plagues each of us without exception. In the passage we just heard, the Lord Jesus, once again, for his best friends, solidifies that he alone can satisfy the deepest hunger of our soul. The confirmation of his purpose is intended as an encouragement and a source of hope, an anchor for the soul, and it's given to us by none other than the Son of God himself. Jesus' encouragement to us follows two distinct miracles which he performed in front of thousands of people and his best friends who often struggled to believe. The first miracle is just a few verses earlier in John 6:1. Sometime after this, Jesus crossed the far shore of the Sea of Galilee, and a great crowd followed him because they saw the miraculous signs he had performed on the sick. Then Jesus went on a mountainside and sat down with his disciples. The Jewish Passover feast was near, and he looked and saw this great crowd coming toward him, and he said to Philip, "Where shall we buy bread for all these people?" And he asked only to test Philip, for he had already in mind what he was going to do. And Philip said, "It'd take 8 months' wages, and it wouldn't buy enough for every person to even have a single bite." Another of his disciples, Andrew, spoke up and said, "Well, here's 5 loaves and a few fish from this boy. But how far will those go among so many?" And Jesus said, "Have the people sit. There was plenty of grass in the place because it was spring. In fact, it was the same week, the same days leading up to Jesus' passing that this happened." The men sat down, 5,000 men and their families. Jesus took the loaves, gave thanks, and distributed to those who were seated as much as they wanted. He did the same with the fish. And when they had all had enough to eat, he said to his disciples, "Gather the pieces that are left over. Let nothing be wasted." I think it's safe to say Jayce did not waste anything in his life. During the Passover season, Jews from everywhere were making pilgrimage to Jerusalem, and many had traveled by foot. The journey from Jesus' hometown was about 250 miles. On foot they traveled. I think it's safe to say that most of those pilgrims had been tired, very hungry. I'm blessed with a large family. I don't think it's as large as this one. And I really enjoy good potluck. But imagine going to a potluck and there's like a 6-inch cold cut combo from Subway, and that's what everybody has to share. That's what it was like. 5,000 men and their families. What did Jesus do? The eyewitness accounts of St. Matthew and Mark answer this question well. The same accounts, the same events in Matthew and Mark, it says, "And Jesus had compassion on them. And he said, 'Sit, rest, eat,' until they were filled with all they could want, until hunger had been driven away to a point where it had been utterly forgotten. And though filling their bellies was temporary satisfaction, the real-life miracle performed by Jesus Christ speaks to us of God's love and his ultimate plan for all things. He is the filler of all things in. He is rest for the weary. He nourishes those starving to find meaning in his life.
He is to be laid on the ground. Can you help?
Oh, I certainly can.
I got it. Put some cold water on her head, maybe?
You're okay. You're okay. Breathe in your nose. Breathe in your nose. Out your mouth. In your nose. Out your mouth. In your nose. Out your mouth. Slowly. In your nose. Out your mouth. In your nose. Out your mouth. In your nose. Okay. You're fine, Mom. You're fine. Okay. It's safe to go. Deep. No, slow. In your nose. No. It's all right. Slowly. Something sugar. Sugar. I know this. Any sugar? No. Here, for the Mexican sugar. There's a sloth. There's two. Thank you. Here.
Second miracle that Jesus showed his disciples before telling them that he was the bread of life was where he walks on water. I don't think it's a story that any of us haven't heard about or aren't familiar with. When evening came, his disciples went down to the lake where they got into a boat and set off across the lake for Capernaum. By now it was dark, and Jesus had not yet joined them. A strong wind was blowing and the waters were rough. When they had rowed 3.5 miles, they saw Jesus approaching the boat walking on the water, and they were terrified. But he said to them, "It is I, don't be afraid." Then they were willing to take him in the boat, and immediately the boat reached the shore where they were heading. In that region of the world, sunset was about 5 o'clock. So it was dark when they left. And again, in other Gospels, this story, they rowed until the fourth watch of the night, which is about between 3 and 6 in the morning. They rowed 8 hours on their own and had only gone 3.5 miles across an 11-mile expanse of water. They weren't making it. And it could be that walking on the water is the highlight here, but it's really not the entire point. What is the point of that story? Jesus can and will powerfully move across any distance to reach his own. And once he reaches his own, once he's in the boat, the most important miracle begins to take place. It should come as no surprise after Jesus walks on the water and them experiencing their boat and everyone inside it being literally and instantly transported to their destination more than 7 miles away on the other side of the lake. This is where St. Peter makes a confession. You are the Christ, the Son of the living God. Today, Jayce is saying, you are my God. And Jesus has kept his promise to not let go of or to lose Jayce. The beauty of grace is how Christ's victory becomes our victory. I love pictures. When did Jayce really have, is that like a wig? Do you really have long hair like that?
Yeah.
I just can't with that, really? Come on, man. I say that because I'm jealous. What can I tell you? Mike told me that this prayer was on Jayce's refrigerator. The Bible study that he and I were part of, I was honored to be his sponsor. And if you're not familiar with any kind of a recovery group, a sponsor is someone who's walked that road before and knows the way, if not perfectly well enough to help somebody else on that road. And so Jayce allowed me to be his sponsor. It wasn't required for me to be the one. He asked me and gave me the honor. And last Thursday night, he and I both took a coin like this one for completing a program of recovery. And that program wasn't over. It's not over for me. I don't think that Jayce realized that it was over for him. Last Thursday was the last time I saw him. And Thursday night, he asked, "Hey, you want to get together for breakfast this weekend?" And the answer was, "Oh, it's Easter. How about next weekend?" I think it's safe to say we'll all have some feeling of what more, what different. There's men in our group. A man in our group told me yesterday, I wanted to call him, and I don't know. I think Mikey said it's like I wanted, and but I want to comfort you. Those feelings are normal. Of course, there's always more. And that's the point. To take that lesson and to apply it to the relationships that you have. Oh my gosh, that kid. I want to read this prayer. You've already read it. Dear God, I've tried to do it all by myself, on my own power, and I failed. Today I want to turn my life over to you. I ask you to be my Lord and my Savior. You are the one and only higher power. I ask you to help me. Think less about me and my will. I want to turn my will over to you daily and seek your direction and wisdom for my life. Please continue to help me overcome my hurts, hang-ups, and habits. May that victory over them help others as they see your power at work in changing my life. Help me to do your will always. In Jesus' name I pray. You all know Jayce with long hair and flipping. And oh my gosh, the stud that he was, you knew him that way and interacted with him in that way. I didn't. The only thing that I know of Jayce is to week in and week out for 30 some weeks, watch him submit himself to Jesus, for him to interact with God, to allow God to say, hey, change a little more. Hey, just a little more. And the thing that I saw toward the end, Jayce belonged to Jesus, and God knows it. Toward the end, Jayce knew it, that he belonged to Jesus. He began to know what God knew. And today, Jayce knows the Lord in a way that I can't even begin to understand. And that's what these events are about. Jesus takes the hungry and feeds them. Jesus takes those who have tried and tried and tried, and Jayce told me the times that he tried let you down. He regretted those bitterly. And he swore that he was going to try again. And this time, he invited Jesus into the boat. And this time, he succeeded where before he had failed. I don't think that anybody believes Jayce was a perfect guy, but he was a godly man. His mom says, yeah, he was. And his dad. And his boy. But he was a godly man. And he belonged to Jesus. And I want to read just this last thing, and then I'm going to stop talking. Each of those Tuesday nights, we had a time of worship and praise, and there was a song that I remember. Jayce specifically said, "I really like that one," and we actually got to hear it on the thing playing before. And I think it just is. It really does. I just hear his voice speaking these words, and I just feel it coming through in his attitude. I will walk through the fire. I'll walk through the darkest night. I will walk through the flood. I won't be overcome. I won't be overcome. I will walk through the trial, walk through the valley of fear. I will walk through the storm. I won't be overcome. I won't be overcome. For the Lord is. He is able. He is faithful. Higher than the mountains that I face. Every season I will press on, for God alone is on the throne. I will walk in your promise, walk in your victory. I will walk in your power. I won't be overcome. I won't be overcome. For the Lord is. He is able. He is faithful. He is higher than the mountains that I face. Every season I will press on, for God alone is on the throne. Glorious, victorious, sovereign over all, on the throne, infinite, magnificent, and reigning over all. Thanks for letting me share.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank everyone for coming, especially those that traveled so far to be here. I'm going to try to get through this.
Not, I'm going to step in.
And if not, somebody can probably read my chicken scratch and get through the rest of this. But Jayce was born on March 23rd, 1992 in San Diego, California. He was always so full of life. He made everyone around him feel special and loved. Jayce was a bright soul to all of us and always happiest to be around friends and family. As a child, he was a gifted athlete and excelled at everything he did. I often coached his sports when he was a young child and challenged him more, pushed him harder. I watched a lot of fathers have that relationship with their kids, and Jayce and I had a special relationship where I coached him and he worked hard and was always the best. He played sports his entire school age years and made us all so proud of his sportsmanship and his competitiveness. He's very competitive. You all know that. So many people, seeing so many people here to say goodbye to Jayce today shows just how loved he was and how much he will be missed. Many of you here today had the distinct honor of being loved by our angel Jayce. He and I were always together. Spent so much time together creating memories I'll hold in my heart forever. Jayce and his sister were always inseparable, always. And always the best kids a parent could ask for. Jayce would always pick at Brooke because he was sarcastic. Brooke's about to transfer from Peterson to Langley, so she's going to vacate her apartment and needed a place to stay. So she reaches out to Jayce and said, "Can we stay with you and Gina?" And Jayce says, "No."
That's all he said.
No. And Brooke knew that was an emphatic yes. Can't wait to have you here. But they were always close. He picked at her, he annoyed at her, but they loved each other. They always loved and supported each other no matter what.
Jayce and I had a really tight relationship. It was one of the strongest mother to son relationship we could have. And I think what made it so special is that it was, am I not loud enough? What made our relationship so strong was that it was spiritual. You know, it wasn't just a mother-son bond, but it was through God. Because when Jayce was born, he was born with low platelets. So at about 4:36 in the morning, you know, I just had Jayce, and they come and they knock on the door, and they hand me a paper, and they're like, "You got to sign right here, because if we have to do a platelet transfusion, if we don't, he's gonna bleed to death." So before I signed it, I said, "God, if you're gonna take him from me, take him now," you know. But he let me have him, and he let me have him for 30 years because he was 9 months in my belly, right? So, so he let me have him for 3 decades, and you know, thank you God for that. And we had the perfect family, to be honest. He never gave me a hard time ever, and so the bond that Jayce and I had was just very special.
Part 2. So Jayce was a gymnast with Brooke. We moved to Virginia and he started gymnastics in 2007 and was a power tumbler. So he gained the name Flip. You all know that. That was his nickname because he flipped all the time. And I was telling folks at work the other day, I just am amazed that somebody could stand in one place, do a complete flip and a complete twist and land in the exact same space while drinking. So he was a gymnast. He learned valuable skills. It bonded him and Brooke and the rest of us even more during that time. But what a lot of you may not know is he represented the United States at World Championships in 2005. And then in high school, he's like, "Dad, I want to wrestle. I'm done with gymnastics. I made it to the top. I went to World Championships. You know, I've got the red, white, and blue hanging at home. I want to wrestle in high school." So he made a pivot. The family are all wrestlers, and it's in his blood. And so he was a natural at it, didn't have years of experience, and just took off and was really a great wrestler in high school. And he also was on the dive team when he met Colin, who's here today. And You know, he took all his gymnastic skills and translated it to diving and was exceptional without years of experience. He was really good. Jayce attended college at the University of Alabama. Colin and Jayce were really good friends. And Jayce came home one day and said, Colin asked me where I was going. I said, University of Alabama. And he says, I'm going too. Never went to the campus. But he went there and he loved bragging about the numerous championships. Roll Tide. He made so many lifetime friends. And Jayce, while he was there, wherever he went, he created a family atmosphere, a family environment. And he would call it family. Many of you are here today. He got his first tattoo at Alabama. He didn't ask us beforehand. Maybe.
He did, but he said it was going to be this little.
Excited. It was the logo of Alabama on his cap. He was really proud of that. He continued to get tattoos, but he was very proud of them and the story they told. I never understood it. I really didn't until the story unfolded, and he would tell us what they all meant and how they told his story. So Nora and I are going to be getting our first tattoos within the next week. We won't tell you where. So many of you were Jayce's Alabama family. He was so excited to get back to school every semester, even if he had to ride there in Colin's Bronco. For those of you who didn't know, that thing barely made it. So thank all of you. To all his friends that loved and took care of him, we really appreciate it. Upon graduation, Jayce was excited to move to Colorado because he'd gotten a job offer early in senior year, and he was coming to Colorado and a new clean slate. So he was excited about that, moving here, couldn't wait to arrive. But when he got here, he created another family, his Colorado family. And many of you are here today as well. Jayce has lived in Colorado for 7 years. We really didn't think about it. Time flies, and he's created a nest, a large family here in 7 years. And many of you are here today, and so thanks for being a part of our family. He made lasting memories with many of you. Jayce loved you all, and Jayce was always with his godfather, his tios, and his cousins. Where we can't talk about today. But he has so many memories, amazing memories with them, and he was just with them all the time. It didn't matter where it was. It didn't matter where it was and what they did. Like, they were tight. Like, they're all here today. It was, the family was always there with Jayce. He made a point to reach out to people and travel and be there and connect and stay connected with everyone all the time. And his cousins are actually his brothers. He was so close to all of you. He always made time to meet up with you and live life to the fullest. Jayce met Gina here in Colorado. And right away, I think I was out on a business trip a week or two later, and he's like, Dad, you have to meet Gina. Like, we'll meet you at the restaurant. We will be there, but you have to meet her. I love this girl. She's the love of my life. I'm like, it's been a month, dude. Like, what are you talking about? And he said, Dad, you met Mom, and 2 months later got married. Got it. I had nothing else to say. I still remember our vacation to Punta Cana, where Jayce proposed to Gina, and Gina accepted. As Gina and Jayce grew closer, they brought beautiful baby Jax. Man, that kid is gorgeous. Into this world. Jax will continue Jayce's legacy in this world and all of us. Jayce joined my friend network over the years and quickly took over my friend network as our leader, connector with everyone. Many of them are here today. They always loved Jayce. He even took over my fantasy football leagues. And the first year he joined, he won. And they're like, is he coming back next year? We will always,
He took over my cooking.
yes, yes, he did. We will always love Jayce, and his memories will live on in us and through us. He was an absolute angel. Jayce, we love you. We know you're watching over us, buddy. Te quiero mucho. Thank you.
Thank you.
If anyone would like to say anything, please help yourself. Take the floor, stand, sit where you are. If there's something you want to mention about Jayce, a moment, if you're inspired to share that with folks. We rarely get together like this, and this is a very diverse group. A lot of you are meeting for the first time, and that was Jayce. There's many that are actually attending via Zoom right now that couldn't be here today. So please, if you'd like, take the time to do that. We'd love to hear from you. And then if not, or after that, please come visit Jayce. He would want you to go. Thank you. We love you all.
Hi, everyone. My name's Matt. I was Jason's younger cousin, and kind of like Mike said, we were brothers. So if you wanted to look up to him as an older brother instead of seeing him as a younger brother. I like Mike said, Jayce has been out here for the last 7 years. That's when I really got to meet Jayce. I've lived in Colorado my whole life, and he made me feel like he had known me since birth. He made me feel like we had lost time to make up on. There was just an instant bond immediately because he loved his family that much. A big part of who I'd say I am today is because of Jayce one particular trip to Keystone in 2016. Some memories from that trip I won't share as well, but I remember struggling really, really hard to come down that mountain that day. Just really, really struggling. It'd been my first time in a long time. I remember him pulling up next to me. Just said, send it, just go for it. And that's how Jayce lived his life along the way. It was full send. It wasn't scared. There was no fear in Jayce ever. And that's what inspired me to keep going, and got to meet up with him at least once a year up there at Keystone. We lived 2.5 hours apart, so we made an agreement. We would just meet somewhere we both lived 2 hours from up at Keystone. I'm really, really gonna miss those days. I remember the last time that we got to go up there, we got to take our cousin Rachie snowboarding for the first time. I remember leaving and actually, like telling each other that we loved each other. And that was I remember that sticking out to me because we had never really taken the time to just say, I love you, man. And knowing that was the last time I spoke to him, it means a lot to me to know that I said I loved him and that he loved me. Because I looked up to him so much. He came into my life during a time where I really needed someone to look up to. I needed a male in my life to look up to like that. And he came through in more ways than he realizes. I wish I could tell him how much he inspired me and motivated me, because I just wanted to be him. I just wanted to be Jayce. He was everything that I could see myself wanting to be as a man. I'm gonna miss him a lot, and I'm never gonna be able to snowboard without thinking about him. So definitely my next trip to Keystone is for him, because I wouldn't know who I am right now without snowboarding. And Jayce is 100% that motivating factor that finally got me to just go for it and hone my skills at it. And those are my favorite days of the year. We were just meeting him up there. So I just wanted to share a few of my memories of Jayce and wanted to love him so much and look up to him.
Hey, everybody. The first time that I met my cousin Jayce, we were in 6th grade. I want to say we were in Arizona, I think for my tío Eddie's funeral. And that was the first time I met my cousin. I thought he was so cool. I was like, wow, my cousin's a gymnast and he does all these flips. And at the time, he wasn't even, I don't think he was maybe he was doing it at the time. But I remember he was able to do this thing where he sits on the floor. He puts his fist down and he's able to stick his legs straight out. and lifts his body completely up with his legs straight out. And I thought, wow, that's crazy. Later on, I found out that my grandpa did the same thing. I said, wow, I went to the family, and then wrestling, same thing. And over the years, I try to keep in touch, but distance kind of gets in the way. I saw him again probably about 5 years ago now, out in California. We hung out for a little bit. And I came out here a couple weeks ago. And I reached out. We were supposed to get together. It really sucks that I missed him. I came down to Colorado Springs to visit my brother. And I said, hey guys, I'm down here. We're going to come down. He said, you know what? I'm gonna I'll try to get down as fast as I can. It's time for the other side. So I missed him. But I did want to share something that was so funny to me. So my sister got to bond with him a lot more because she's a traveler. And they used to come to the lakes all the time and go tubing, and that was the thing, was who can hang on the longest. And if anybody knows me, Chris, he makes it a point to knock you off of that thing and send you flying in the air. And I had posted a picture of somebody on a tube, and he's flying in the air. And it says, so your parents never did this to you in the show. It was on Facebook. And I was laughing about it, and I tagged my cousin Jayce because I heard so many stories of how crazy he was and how high he went up in the air. And I never got to be there with him when that happened, but I can only imagine. I saw some pictures and stuff in videos, but he commented, I feel like I'm still the reigning champ because my deal Chris for life was going to get him off of that thing. And I said, probably I would never try this anymore because my muscles are so weak. And he says, I'm about to start hitting the gym specifically to be the best at this. And I said, well, you would. And then my aunt said, well, Jayce, you did fly pretty high when we did get you off. And he says, next time I want to go higher. And we did this. We went as high as we could go. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Alexander. I've been knowing Jayce for a long time, but it's crazy because if I could use one word to describe him or his personality, it would be infectious. I mean, I can't even picture him without a smile on his face. It's crazy. He just posted a video recently. He was at the pool, and we always give each other a hard time because I'm from Texas. He went to Alabama. Alabama beat Texas in the national championship. Never let it go. And so I'm wearing my U of H hat, and he pushed me into the pool, and I went in. And I don't swim, so I was upset. And I remember being so mad because I got my hat wet. He's like, I'll get you my money. It's so funny. When I saw that video again, I was like, man, I'm just glad I haven't had that moment. And we most recently saw him at Christmas. And like I said, we live in Brookfield, so that's like 2 hours away. And we'll always, make plans. We'll meet up, and then COVID happened, And I remember the last time I saw each other at Christmas, we were like, yeah, we're gonna do some more stuff this year. And that was the plan. And it just sucks because when stuff like this happens, people say, he's in a better place. I would much rather have him here. He was one of those people that was like better for this world. Like I said, I haven't known Jayce for a long time, but that's the impact he had on me. And I was getting ready for my football game on Saturday when Savvy called me, and she's crying. that was the last name I expected to hear. And it didn't hit me when I went to my game. It was, she worked nights. It was Sunday night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw his face. And I couldn't sleep. And I'm like, man, you know, I didn't think it was going to affect me like this. And what's crazy is I was also mad at Jayce because he turned my son into a Steelers fan. This is true. Bentley has a Claypool jersey right now because of Jayce. And he does gymnastics because of his Uncle Jayce. And the craziest thing is he doesn't know. He's 8 years old. We don't know how to tell him that his Uncle Jayce, he's not going to see him. And we don't know when would be the right time. You know. But I can't imagine, like, Bentley and Jayce was close. You know, that's how I knew Jayce was going to be a good father, because whenever he came around, it was just him and Bentley. You know, though sometimes I'm like, dude, that's my son, chill out. But we will find a way. I think that's my biggest, and I know it sounds selfish because, you know, he loves your husband, but I don't know how we're going to tell Bentley. You know what I'm saying? Like, when we have conversations, when we've been trying to plan, as soon as he comes around, we start talking about something else, because, again, to let him know where it was going. We said what was going on for big night. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how important he was. You know what I'm saying? Bottom line is he will be missed. You will never hear me say this again in public, but roll tide for Jayce.
So, Gina's my best friend. And that's the only reason I really knew Jayce, but lucky, because he was awesome and he really impacted so many lives. Like, Alexander said something the other night to kind of like comfort me, thinking about you, like my heart hurts for you. And like, it's almost like Jason knew that he would go young because he did so much with his life. Like, he did 10 times more with his life than a lot of people ever do. By the time they're 90, it's wild. Like, he's just, like you said, he's infectious and motivating, and like, he has this personality. You go around, even if you're tired, like all of a sudden you have like energy. It's wild. He has this amazing aura to him, and it's hard to even talk to him in like past tense. It just doesn't feel real. I don't know if it ever will, but I remember I was there for the birth of Jackson. It's funny because Gina went into labor early, and I was like, oh, like, Jayce, what do you think happened? Like, why is she going in early? Maybe Jackson wants to see you. And he's like, no, she has this really bad like head cold, and she's blowing her nose so hard. She's like, he was like, in my dream, I thought it was like a dragon, like blowing fire. Like, that's how hard she was blowing. He's like, that's why Jackson came. And he always said these just like witty, funny things that he doesn't even know how funny he is, but he always just had me laughing. And even when Gina told me right away that, oh, she found the love of her life and she's getting married, and I was like, wow, like, I barely had a chance like meet him and get to know him, but I'm glad that I did. And yeah, we just had good memories. He's the one who brought our son snowboarding for the first time. And you know, when I asked Bentley, hey, if you ever could live with mommy and daddy, who would you want to live with? He was like, Uncle Jayce and Gina. And so ever since it's been you guys. And so it's just hard for everybody. And yeah, but he has a legacy, and I'm sorry for you, G. I love you. I want to get for you, but he did a lot. And he was awesome. Thanks.
Devastating experience anyone can have is when a mother loses a child. She has actually lost the part of her, the part that cannot be replaced. You nurtured him, you and Mike provided and taught him love and respect. You gave him his voice, and you taught him to respect family and embraced it. He embraced it at every turn. He was so proud of his Marine parents. And he adored his little sister and let the world know that he did. He was so proud of her accomplishments. Jayce was accomplished, fit, and good looking, but most of all humble. I never got the opportunity to meet the girl who stole his heart. But from what he showed us, he was madly in love with her. It's clear that she gave him space and respected his relationships. What an amazing woman. I'm sorry, where she is, Gina. I'm sorry for your loss. And that baby is winning me. For 12 months, Jayce posted a picture of Jax. I looked forward to seeing these. He was afforded time at home and had the opportunity to bond with him. This will forever be priceless. So I flew to Colorado, was for another nephew's funeral. Bobby, who was Jayce's cousin, he too left this earth too early. I'm not here to tell you it's going to get easier because that couldn't possibly be the case. Your entire tribe is grieving with you. There'll be no cute crying. It looks like it feels. Jayce was compassionate, funny, smart, and smart. It's been shown that he brought so much love, laughter, and happiness to so many. Talk about relationship goals. His capacity to love is enormous. There's no doubt that you and Mike are beyond proud, as you should be. You raised an amazing son. He definitely made our family brighter and will be missed. I hate that nothing will ever be the same. I hope that you find solace in this devastating time. Yes, it's easier said than done. Mike, Nora, Brooke, Gina, Jax, we are all here for you. I wish for strength for each and every one of you to carry on. And please take all the help offered and don't be afraid to ask for additional help. You are not meant to walk alone during this tragic time. On the left,
I wrote a speech because I knew that once I got here, I wasn't going to find the words. I'm struggling writing this because I don't know how to sum up what Jayce meant to me in one speech. For those that don't know me, I'm here to read it. Jayce and I met back in 2015. I was his first Colorado friend, and he always reminded me of that every argument we got into. He came out to play some pool with me and Jared. He showed up in a black Under Armour shirt, and the bar didn't let him in because of the logo. So they had bar loaner shirts, which would never happen now. The shirt was brown and extra, 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 extra large. If you know Jayce, you know all black everything. Jayce was drowning in this extra, extra, extra brown shirt and complaining all night. He even blamed the loss of it pool on this shirt. He cracked me up. I thought to myself, who is this guy? The closer and closer we grew, I realized this guy was in fact the male form of me. He became my right hand. We would go to the club and dance, battle people in a circle. We would go to the switchbacks game. We would go to the Pueblo Reservoir, plan Denver events any chance we got, and reaching a 200-day snap streak. God, we were so proud of that. If you know, you know. Time went on and we met more people, and my little clique grew into the fam. Every person I ever introduced to Jayce, he clicked with. Jayce was charming, funny, smart, handsome, athletic, caring, with energy that just lights up the room. Jayce was so sure of himself and it was contagious. He was my go-to person when I needed job guidance, boy problems, to laugh when I was sad, how to cook, needed a new show to watch, and so much more. Jayce left me with so much wisdom, and I'm heartbroken along with everyone in this world. Jayce put on a player front with his bet attitude, but deep down, if you knew Jayce, you knew how tender his heart was. Jayce and I grew up together. We had heartbreaks together. He was there through my failures and my successes. Jayce spoke to me about his goals, his wishes, and dreams. He always wanted a family. His exact words, I can't wait to have a family of my own and to become a dad. Where's Gina? She's here. I'll just say it for us all. Gina, thank you so much for being the light in his life and fulfilling his dream. It wasn't the career, the money, the house, or cars. It was you and Jax. I remember the first time Jayce told me about Gina, he was so excited. The fam was as nervous by a quick engagement because we were all protective, but I was sure of his decision. I saw what I needed to see early on. She made Jayce a better person effortlessly by just being her. He was so proud to be her husband. He wanted to prove to her he was the best of the best. And I'm so happy to be a part of that. He loved her with his entire being. Mike, you raised a one-of-a-kind man, being a prime example. He looked up to you in every way. Nora, you raised a kind, loving son and a damn good cook, and I love you guys both. Rookie, I always joked that I treated Jason for his sister, but little did I know I gained a whole second family, and I'm forever grateful. Life is so precious, and you really don't know when the Lord will call you home, so hug every person tight. Don't go to bed mad. Don't sweat the small stuff, and be happy with every chance you get. This is the last story I will tell. On March 20th, my boyfriend and I had snowboarded Copper Mountain. We went to this fundraiser at Keystone. Keystone isn't on our pass, and it honestly was a hassle to go to this mountain. But for some reason, I just felt like I needed to go to this fundraiser. I was super determined. So we went to Keystone and we're sitting down at a table. The head guy of the fundraiser was talking to us, and I just happened to glance out of the window. In a crowd of 1 million people walking by, I saw Jayce. I ran out of the restaurant as fast as I could, screaming his name. I don't know why I was running like my life depended on it. I even ran into a lady and she got mad at me. Sorry, I can't see what I wrote. I finally caught up to him and I gave him the biggest hug. It was the best hug, and I will cherish that last moment with him forever. God knew, and I'm so grateful for that last moment. Until we meet again, Jayce, I love you.
Where to start? So, Jayce, I met back in high school. We met through dive, and much like everyone else on the team at the time, we didn't take it all so serious. It was, we were out there having fun, and he would just, again, like someone else had said, just encourage us to continue to go, full send and do as many flips as possible. It's just those memories at the pool, I'll never forget. Over the years, Jayce actually got myself and some others into snowboarding, and we'd always plan an annual trip. And each year we picked some location different. And there was no question it was probably one of my most favorite days on the year. We'd always mark the calendar, and we were so excited to get the family back together. As I grew to know Jayce over the years, I also got to know his family rather well, and instantly they just kind of took us in, and I truly felt like more part of their family than I did some of my own family. And I'll never forget how kind and just charismatic Jayce was. He just always brought something to our group. He like someone else said, he always kind of turned it on, but deep down, he was always someone you could go to talk to, if you wanted to have this serious discussions. Unfortunately, I'd say in the past, couple of years or so, we've, grown a little distant, but we've always made a point to, go back and, watch some of the Bama games every year or what may be it. So, when I got the news last week, I wasn't sure how to feel. I wasn't sure, how to honor him and what would be the best way to just recognize him. One of the things that Jayce always brought to the table on our ski trips was he would just have this music. And it was, just something different that, I would never come across. For those who know that, and I, Sunday night, I just started, putting together, I still have some of his playlists on my phone actually that he made. And I just, just sat out and I just continued to play, each and every track. And, it just brought back those good memories, all the ski trips that we had and just things that I'll cherish. He is, definitely one of my best friends, and I'm really going to miss him.
Just real quick, dive friend again, and Jayce, he was the crazy one that he always sent it full send, and he was one of the most loyal friends to the dive group and to his entire family. Every time we got together, he would talk about his family the entire time. So he was someone I always loved talking to. So I love you, Jayce.
Yeah, the person here too. We were talking about him on the way here, but we talk about him all the time regardless, right? I think it finds a way to come up with conversations, but I think it comes to the fact he's just, I think the best way to put it is the way that I've been getting through this week, and I feel like maybe a lot of people have, is just knowing that he's smiling down on us. I feel like that's just who he is. It's just like, not just him. But he's also just such a loyal and deep down, who he was. Like, he'd be funny and charming, but he was always just to his core, just a wonderful person. I love him.
also won the second place team trophy. So that was when I was like, dumped out Dr. Parker again and how special Jayce was. So we've heard how tonight how special Jayce is as a family man and how rare of a friend he was in that space. But I'm here to talk about Jayce as a professional. One of his favorite supervisors can't be here tonight, so I'll try to capture his words. When Jayce's father first came up with the idea to try to bring him into the Air Force, where he was serving as a chief information officer, I had some concerns. His father's the Michael Jordan of IT in the defense sector, so that's a lot of pressure to follow those footsteps. But not only did Jayce earn my respect, but he also earned the respect of everyone in our Air Force directorate, even people that weren't too big of fans of his father, loved Jayce, loved his work ethic. I think that really speaks to the magic of Jayce. He was driven to get certifications, to be a proven commodity in the space, and always wanted to learn, but the leader that he was within the organization, not so much in terms of rank or power, but how he took care of people and really understanding servant leadership. And for a young man at the age of 28, 29 years old to understand that is very rare. With enough time and probably in maybe half the time that his father gained his pedigree, he could have had a similar scale. His potential was high through the roof. And, the Air Force is going to miss him. We already do, both his passion, his demeanor, but also his productivity. So, rest in peace, young man. Thank you.
So I can't really articulate how much it means that I lost Jayce. I'm part of the fan that Kara mentioned earlier, and that was in 2015 or 16, and that summer we were inseparable. And within 2 years, I became his roommate, and I'm still in that house right now, sleeping in his old bedroom. And all I gotta say is I'm missing him so much. Staying up till 2, playing Mario Party, watching all of his Alabama games, tasting his cookies. I still don't think it's real, but it is. And every memory I have of him, there's a smile on his face. And that's something I'll cherish forever.
I'm Alan. I'm also part of that Colorado fan. I met Jayce and Kara at the same time in a soccer game. She was playing, and she just kind of stuck me up in the crowd with Jayce. And I'm like, I don't even know this guy. But immediately we hit it off. And as you guys all know, like he just kind of just resonates into you, and you can't get rid of him even if you wanted to. So that was 2015, and it was just the start of like something big here. Like I've heard so many stories about the Virginia family, the California family, the Alabama, and where's Colorado family? Started off just 2 or 3 of us, and next thing you know, it's like you've seen a bunch of these pictures, these 10, 15, 20, who knows, a lot of you guys are here. I know this doesn't feel real. I know you guys can all relate to that. Yeah, I mean, Jayce went through some really hard struggles at the end, and it was really hard to see him go through it. I think he lost his way a little bit there for a little while. I don't think he realized the love and support that he had. That's on us a little bit, I know that. I have a little bit of guilt for that as well. One of the things that I started to come to realize at the end is that he started to find a lot of peace in who he was. and a lot of the battles and a lot of the struggles that he went through, he started to find peace in those. I feel like Jayce's body is ready to go quite a while ago. You know, like he could have died plenty of times. That reckless, careless, full sending attitude that he has, you know, which he brought into a lot of us. But his mind wasn't ready. It really helped him get to that point, Gina. Once his mind was ready, his body let go. We're gonna miss him. We're gonna love him. We're gonna be here for you and that little boy. All right. Love you guys.
I'm Jayce, second uncle. And I was with them 15 years ago, stayed at their home. I feel like I need to say something and talk because I'm not gonna have a second chance again. Like this happened and I never saw him again. And he was telling me, I spoke to him about 2 months ago and he said, yeah, Güero, because he called me Güero. We're gonna go, Gina and me and baby, we're gonna go have some lunch. We'll meet over there in San Diego. And I'm always saying, well, I'm always working, but yeah, I'll make some time. But this time never happened. The last time I saw him was like 15 years ago. I stayed in Virginia with my sister and mine. And I was gonna stay over there and work over there because I lost my job in San Diego of 20 years. But while I was with them, he made me feel like I was part of them, which I am, but more than just an uncle. He went as far as I would go to the bathroom at night, open the doorknob, it's full of peanut butter, and he's only 14 years old, and I'm like 32 at that time, because I doubled him up. So then I think I put toothpaste on his shoes. He thought I was gonna get him, but then he got me again. I went to a bathroom and he had that clear thing on the toilet. It was like 3, 4 in the morning. I said, oh, Jay, so he just had me going. You know, and I was gonna stay in Virginia if I would have gotten a job, and I was about to get a job, but then I got called for a job in San Diego, so I went back. My kids are from San Diego and they're over there too. And he always said, I wanna move to San Diego, I wanna live in San Diego with Gina. And we always supported him. You know, he's our second youngest nephew. This is not the way things are supposed to go. You know, him being the second youngest, and then he leaves. As far as me, I've never had anything hurt me as much as my nephew's death. Not even my divorce can compare to what just happened to Jayce. And we're as a family, we don't speak to audiences. So I'm not used to speaking to anybody. But because to honor Jayce, I needed to do this. And Gina, we're gonna be there for you, for Jax. You know, my daughter just corrected me. It's not Jack, Dad. It's Jax. Jax. You know, this is the first time I met my nephew. I wasn't here when they got married. I wasn't there when when Jack was born. But now we're gonna make that extra effort to be here for you guys, no matter what. No matter what, I'm gonna be here. And I love you, love your family, your mom. You know, I don't know you guys, but now you're part of my heart. You know, you're part of us forever, no matter what. You know, because I know life goes on. And he loved you. I just know he loved you a lot. Like they said, when I fell in love with you in a month, we had the same question with my sister, my wife came married in 2 months. You know, he just fired up again. You know, and yeah, that's just love. So God bless Jayce. God bless.
How much time we got? Talk about Jayce for hours. Those of you that didn't meet at the wedding, I'm Jayce's best man, cousin, brother, Hector. As you see me in many of those pictures, spent a lot of time together. I'll try to go through a timeline here with Jayce. Was there the day he was born, and then just had an instant connection with Jayce. It's really weird. I kind of put him under my wing as my little brother. Spent many summers with Mike, Nora, Quantico, Temecula. Me and Jayce used to work out in his room to Nelly Country Grammar. And he always just wanted to be with the big kids. I'm 8 years older than him, so you can do the math. Just mad. He didn't leave me his eyes behind, because that's the one thing I want. It's his eyes. He always wanted to play basketball with us, and he did. As annoying as he was and he got in my way, he was always part of the team, and me, Mike, and Jayce, and Sean, we would always beat the other teams, no matter what. Fast forward to his 18th birthday, we went out to Cabo San Lucas, and then he went to Bama. Then he graduated Bama, and I flew him out to party in Vegas to celebrate. Funny story, him and Gina were in Vegas for both their 21st birthday, and they might have crossed paths, and they didn't even know they were going to be each other's lovers. You didn't know this, they're 2 days apart on their birthdays. I really regret not being here for his last birthday, but I had my own stuff I was dealing with. But I didn't have plans for this, you know. I'm still waiting for him to wake up and say, got him. Everyone grieves differently. Got here Sunday. Had a hard time Saturday, Sunday. And you don't think I'm grieving pretty bad. But I'm trying to stay strong for all his friends, his family, and my kids that are here. Jayce loved Mexican candy, man. If you're ever across Mexican candy at a store, at a gas station, just think of Jayce. We also shared we love Doritos with lime and chili tapatio. That was one of our other favorite snacks. Oh man, go on and on here about Jayce. It's just, I know the night he passed, he came by and he woke me up. I just can't explain it to you guys, but when you know, you know. And I just know it was Jayce, and he came back and he said, I'll see you later, man. But never did I think that was Jayce. That was the last person on my list. So I received the terrible news. Gina, you already know, I talked to you. Always gonna be here for you. Can't wait for Jax to grow up. I really can't do everything with him. I know Jayce would be like, man, party on a funeral, man. But putting it into perspective, it's really hard to party at his funeral. You guys don't have my number, you don't have me on social media, feel free to add me. Keep in touch with all of you guys. If you ever want to visit his grave in San Diego, I'm there. I'm a 2-hour drive, and his whole San Diego family is nearby as well. And I will visit him on his birthday every year. I could sit here all day and talk about Jayce, but I want to give somebody else an opportunity. Jayce, I love you, man. Till next time.
So I can't bring myself to look at Jayce. I want to remember him in life. I'm his tia, Nora's first cousin. So years ago, Nora's been living in Virginia for a while, and I used to go to DC for work every other year. And I tried to make an extended stay, visit them, hang out with the kids. And one year, they were dumb enough to leave them with me. They had a ball to go to, so I found some whipped cream in the fridge, filled their mouths up with whipped cream. It was snowing outside, so I took them outside, and I noticed it was kind of gross on that end. So I drew a line in the snow and taught them how to hawk boogies. I did not think they remembered, but years later, when a family member had a wedding, and they got together, and I arrived to Los Angeles after their get together. And at the wedding, someone comes up to me and says, he said, "This is her." She said, "Oh, that's her?" And I'm like, "What did I do now?" And so then I heard that he had shared that story, and so I was amazed that he remembered that. And when he had the baby, when he had Squish, he kept sending me messages. "You need to come and teach my baby how to hawk boogies." So that's how he got me here. And I came in October, and I was like, yeah, he's still too young. I'm gonna have to come back. So it stuck with me. That's my job. So I just wanted to share that, because one of the things that this comes from his mother. She is a big family person, and I saw that in him. Everything that she valued about family, he embodied it as well. So even though I hadn't seen him for years, I felt like a connection. And then I come to his house, and he's like, "No, yeah, no, you can't. No, what bus? No, I'm coming to get you." So he picks me up from the airport, and then he cooks for me. And I'm like, "Oh my God, I feel like a queen," you know? And of course, I hadn't met Gina. And so I got to spend time with Gina, and I admire Gina. And Gina, I'm not going to share the whole story, because it's kind of my own stuff, right? So everybody has wounds, and I was dealing with stuff. And I had been working towards moving on, right? And being with Gina and talking with Gina, I thought, you know what, that's what I need to do. I need to stay busy. I need to move forward. I need to get things done. And my visit with Gina and Jayce
was kind of the push I needed to move forward in my life. And now I'm back in school, I'm in college, and I'm very proud of myself. And so, you know, things happen for a reason. And for me, I don't know why, but for some reason I was supposed to come out for that visit. And I don't know why, but when I read the news, for me, I read the news, I thought I was on the wrong page. I recognized the pictures, but it didn't make sense. I was like, wait, what? Is this a joke? Like a meme or something? I was waiting for the punchline. I must have read it 5 times, and then suddenly, slowly, it sunk in, and I just felt the life suck out of my heart. It's the weirdest thing because I've had losses, and the only other loss that I have felt this much is my mother's loss, and I can't explain it. I don't know why. Maybe because I connect, you know, my daughter's about his age. Nora's like a sister to me. We grew up together. All her siblings, all my cousins. So, as Nora said before, and as Mike has said before, we're not just cousins. We're extended brothers and sisters, and it's, you know, it's my generation as well. So, you know, I just wanted to share that. So it's just another perspective that you all may not have been aware of.
Everybody, my name is Taylor Martinez. One of Jayce's buddies back from T-Town. He's literally my best friend when I got there, and he was my workout buddy. He was my basketball buddy, my volleyball buddy, my pool buddy, you name it. Jayce was down for anything. And I moved out here a few years ago, and we had been in touch, and right before COVID hit, we were supposed to hang out and go to Keystone, some of you guys back there, and obviously that didn't happen with everything that's been going on, but I'll definitely forever regret not making more of an effort to see him again. A little quick side note on Jayce is we were in the same group in MIS, our major, back in Bama, some of you guys in here as well, and towards the end for our final, we were all having troubles with figuring out the codes and all the difficult, you know, linguists in that and C++. And so we couldn't figure out the project. And at the end, Jayce was like, don't worry, guys, I got this. All right. And yeah, the next day he came in, we had it all done. We passed, everything was great. And I was just like, Jayce, how'd you do that? And he was like, oh, my mom did that for me, man. Sorry to but just goes to show whoever takes their friends and family. And I just, I'm looking for optimism. And we all love you, Jayce, both sides. I'm sorry.
Hi, everybody. My name is Travis. I'm a part of kind of the extended family, Colorado family at Jayce. I wanted to kind of share something. I've gone back and forth whether or not it's appropriate to share a story or not. My exposure to Jayce was very much a summation of what everyone here has shared so far. It started with photos like that of him popping up and various friends of mine on Facebook, and I'd constantly be like, forgive the language, but who the hell is this male model that keeps photobombing? It's super intimidating, good looking, right? Like coming from another man. I go, well, he's clothed in all his pictures, and then I see these, and I'm like, he's got the body to match it too, but I bet he can't do anything with it. Then I see the videos of the standing backflips and twists, his push-up handstands. It was pretty tremendous, and I always wanted to meet Jayce, and I was lucky enough. Finally, we'd be at social gatherings together a couple times. We'd talk in passing. And I'm like, okay, he's all look. I've met good-looking men before, and they know it, and they're full of themselves, right? And he never once came off that way. And it was a stark contrast to the way that he looked, because he was extremely humble, extremely warm. And every time we spoke, it was like we'd known each other for a very long time. And I get the impression that that's what he was really good at with people. The first time that I ever really got to spend time with him was actually last September, kind of in a one-on-one situation. And I think that it was probably one of the darkest times that Jayce had. We went out, we played some golf, and he was in a really, really tough spot. And what I saw that day, and the main reason I want to get up here is because I sense a lot of regret and remorse on people that think that maybe they didn't do enough for him. I talked to him kind of in secret behind our connections backs a lot of times after that. Sending messages, he was really embarrassed, and that's how he first reached out to me. He said, I want to thank you. I want to thank the guys that were there. I don't think that the outcome would have been as good as it was if y'all hadn't. And I told him what makes a man. I was really grateful, is what I told him. I said, I'm glad that this was my first date with you per se, not in a big group, because what makes a man is how they face adversity. You want to really know what a person's made of. You see how they rebound from something like that. And he sent me a message, and he said to me specifically, I'll read at least a small portion of it. He told me flat out, he goes, one step at a time is what I'll be doing until it becomes natural. I've seen how much support I have from my friends and family, and how much all y'all are rooting for me to succeed. I still have a lot of patching up to do with relationships and myself, but it's going to happen. Much love, man. And I think that at the end of the day, he really did know how much everybody did care about him. He went out of his way after that. Every time I saw him, lesser people buckle under things that Jayce was facing. And every single time I saw him, you could see that the battle was something that he fought, but he was a man. He was up to the task, right? This all caught me really, really, really off guard. And it's funny because going back to what somebody else shared, that you don't know how much somebody impacts you. And that's what I would tell him. I text him all the time. I say, I identify with some of the things that you go through more than you could ever know. I know he was always appreciative of it and so forth, but I do agree that a little bit too soon, by all means, it just doesn't seem real. I haven't had the guts to come up and say my piece to him, but I think that it's important that everybody does know that Jayce felt loved. He knew how much everybody rooted for him. He loved his wife. He loved his baby. He screamed that to me 30 times that day. I got to see how strong Jayce was that day too. Jayce was extremely strong. But I think it's important. It's been really good. I'm glad that I finally get to see where all the looks do come from as well. It's an intimidating room to walk into. I always known that it would be such. But one of the quotes that I really like that I've shared with Alan and some other guys, and it goes back to the memory, what someone was saying about not wanting to look and see, the vessel, if you will. Last thing I'll say is, not far downstream was a dry channel where the river had run once, and part of the way to come to know a thing is through its death. But years ago, I had known the river when it flowed through this now dry channel, so I could enliven its stony remains with the waters of memory. And that's what I want everyone to do with Jayce. Don't remember this, don't remember the last several months, don't remember the bad things, remember every single one of those, right? So we're gonna miss you, brother. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you, everyone.